I don't want a bride price. I can even offer 200,000 yuan as a dowry. It's probably a common issue for older single women, right?
Do you have to get married?
I definitely want to get married. I was born in 1996 and I already have a car and house. My parents both work in the government.
What if his family's quite ordinary? Is that okay?
It's fine to find somebody from an ordinary family because I come from one myself. After all, I already have a car and a house, so I'm not too concerned about what the man has to give me. I believe in the idea that life is best when it's enough but not excessive. Contentment is better than perfection.
Do you think you're easy to chase?
As long as he's sincere and doesn't deceive me, I think I'm actually quite easy to chase.
Would you want to join our singles group?
Sure. This 29-year-old woman from Nanjing is strikingly beautiful, almost like a star. Her views on marriage are also unique. She doesn't want a house, a car, or a bride price, and she's been praised all over the internet. Once a woman reaches 28 and isn't married, friends and family often pressure her to get married, and this pressure can be overwhelming. This anxiety about marriage leads some to lower their standards. Recently, in Inner Mongolia, a woman in her late 20s completely broke down while looking for a partner. Despite having savings of over 10 million yuan, a car, and a house, she was ignored by everyone. This wealthy woman openly sought a husband online. She owns a distillery, runs it well, and has set up a social media incubation base in Inner Mongolia with multiple accounts operating successfully. In other words, all her main businesses are thriving. She said,
"所以我才以身作反面教材分享我的错误。
I'm a complete failure as an older single woman, and I'm the opposite of success. Ladies, don't be like me. I'm the worst lesson to learn from." She spoke earnestly, deeply regretting not marrying earlier. She revealed that when she was young, her father passed away after being seriously ill, leaving behind more than 300,000 yuan in debt. To pay it off, she worked relentlessly, hoping to pay off the debt and then find a partner. Unfortunately, several years passed. She made money through animal husbandry, but still couldn't find anyone to marry. She admitted that she went on over 10 blind dates, but none were satisfactory. In short, this 35-year-old influencer wanted to find an exceptional man, someone who could earn money, be gentle and caring, and provide emotional support during holidays. Now she feels completely defeated and plans to marry a divorced man with children. As long as she can have her own child, she's willing to accept it.
现在北京真的是进入女追男的时代了。
Beijing has truly entered an era where women are pursuing men. Many good-looking and capable guys have already been snapped up early, and the remaining high-quality ones who are still single have already caught the eye of women with sharp perspectives. More and more women are realizing that if they just wait for someone to pursue them, they may not even find a reliable partner. Have you ever felt this way? If you're a step late, even those with normal conditions might slip through your grasp. Ms. Zhang, a 33-year-old woman living in Beijing, has had a few relationships, but she hasn't found a marriage partner that she truly likes. If she didn't mention her age, it would be hard to believe she's over 30. Now she's in a hurry to get married, and she's even willing to pay for the wedding herself.
带领剩女卷起来了。
The competition among older single women has intensified. At 33, with a master's degree, intelligence, and good looks, I'm considered a high-quality older single woman. Now, I don't want a house, a car, or a bride price. In fact, I can even lend the man 30,000 yuan as a bride price. I don't need the traditional 3 gold items or 5 gifts. And I don't care if he has abs. I heard that once a woman turns 35, no one wants her anymore. So I'm really anxious. By the way, now getting married and registering for a marriage certificate is completely free. You don't even need the 9 yuan processing fee, so what's there to hesitate about? However, for most older single women, when they can't find a partner they like, they choose to stay single and don't see it as a problem. Economic independence drives the attitude that it's better to stay single than settle. They view it as a lifestyle choice and an expression of personal freedom. Let's take a look at what this 37-year-old single woman has to say.
最近在跟我的好朋友们在一起聊天的时候，
Some people compare older single women to unsold vegetables at dusk, giving themselves an excuse for staying single. In reality, they're more anxious than anyone else. Recently, when chatting with my good friends, including a few highly qualified single women, we've all been troubled by a question. Are we asking too much? Should we lower our standards in order to find someone? I've met a few men who were interested in me, and after having a coffee or chatting a few times, they'd tell me heartfelt things like, "You're really a great woman, and I enjoy talking to you. You really understand everything, but sometimes I get intimidated because it seems like you know everything. I feel like I can't fool you." This was the first time I heard such words, and I was completely confused. Aren't women supposed to be more experienced, more knowledgeable, and have higher higher standards. They even hoped that we would spend less energy on our careers and focus more on the family, hoping we would be more obedient. We were puzzled. Would being independent both financially and emotionally scare men away? I thought long and hard about this question, trying to find the reason I was still single. Later, I realized something. Should I pretend to be naive just to find a boyfriend? Should I act clueless no matter what happens? Or should I always pretend I don't know things? One day, when people question whether your efforts are worth it or whether your independence is acceptable, I hope that you can have things they envy but can't get. You can turn around and tell them, I'm just brave enough to live differently from everyone else. The common problem with older single women who can't get married is that they usually have very high standards. Even if they like someone, they still act aloof, expecting the other person to pursue them. But the men they meet through blind dates are already looking to get married and have seen through their games of playing hard to get. They lose patience quickly and won't put much effort into pursuing someone. After getting to know each other for a while, if they feel it's not a good match, they'll move on to the next one immediately.
作为一个38岁的大龄剩女，
As a 38-year-old older single woman, I can honestly tell everyone that we're not against marriage, and we do want to get married. We just don't want to marry someone we're not interested in. But we can't seem to find someone we like, who likes us back, and who wants to marry us. That's why we're not married. But that shouldn't be a reason for people to insult or criticize us. Everyone has the right to choose their life, and I choose to be single. So loneliness is something I have to bear. Some people choose marriage, but aren't happy. That's what they have to endure. So if we could meet someone with good character, the right values, and who treats us well, who wouldn't want to get married, right? According to reports from Chinese media, the number of married women in China has been steadily rising over the past decade, especially among those aged 30 to 44, which has increased sevenfold. Older single women have become a group that can't be ignored. One reason many older women struggle to find a partner is that they often have their own principles. Most women, when faced with choosing between relying on a man or relying on themselves, decisively choose the latter. This gives them more dignity, allows them to express their self-worth, and helps them take control of their own direction in life. They adopt the better stay single than attitude and keep searching for the right person. When choosing a partner, they prefer level or upward compatibility rather than downward compatibility. If marriage can only be achieved through marrying down, they'd rather stay single. They may believe that perhaps they're destined to be alone forever. A female blogger working in Beijing participated in a matchmaking event with sincerity, but due to her age, no one showed interest in her. Reality let her down time and time again.
32岁还单着呢。
At 32, having lived in Beijing for years, watching my friends pair off one by one, my desire to find a partner grew more urgent. They say small circles make it hard to find a partner, so to break the cycle, I decided to take a chance. I signed up for a singles hiking group, hoping I might meet the right person, but if not, at least I'd enjoy myself. On the day of the event, I woke up early, put on some light makeup, and went there with high hopes. The activity was a bus trip to a hiking spot, and the rules stated that men and women should sit next to each other to encourage interaction. However, when I got to the meeting point, I saw that everyone was shy. The men sat on one side and the women on the other, with no one sitting together despite repeated reminders from the organizer. There was a self-introduction segment where people had to send their personal information in the group chat, but many wrote vague details or didn't write anything at all. The event provided corresponding numbers for men and women, with the rule that men with the same number should take care of the women. Some men approached their assigned women, but most didn't. I didn't even get the chance I was supposed to be matched with. During the hike, I hoped a guy would come up to me and start a conversation. Talking with the other women, I found that they all felt the same. There was almost no interaction between men and women. I also wanted to start a conversation, but I felt too shy. By the end of the day, I hadn't exchanged contact information with any man. This experience made me realize a harsh reality. Good-looking women are especially popular at these events, surrounded by 2 or 3 men offering attention and protection, even if they have ordinary jobs and incomes. Looks seem to be the currency in the matchmaking market. I'd already decided that if I didn't meet the right person, I'd at least enjoy the hiking and the beautiful scenery. Although I didn't meet anyone suitable, I did meet 2 friendly women and added them on WeChat. The scenery was great, my mood was good, and so even though the journey of finding a partner was full of helplessness and bitterness, I remained positive. Recently, in Hangzhou's One Song Academy matchmaking corner, an entertainment broadcaster with amazing looks and figure went to the event but was ignored by everyone. Perhaps her good looks were interpreted as high standards or hard to control, which made some men hesitate. In 2021, China's 7th census showed that there were 34.9 million more men than women in the total population. The gap in eligible men aged 20 to 40 exceeded 17 million. According to past statistics, there should be many more men who are single compared to women, so why are there so many more single women? The truth is that quality men don't need to go on blind dates, and they're not circulating in the matchmaking circles. Women hold onto them tightly once they spot them. Meanwhile, less desirable men, especially low-income rural men, have even fewer opportunities to marry. They don't go to matchmaking events because they risk humiliation. With high expectations from women, even if they do show up, no one would be interested, so they'd rather stay home and play on their phones. According to statistics from the Chinese Ministry of Education, the number of women receiving higher education has been consistently higher than that of men in recent years. For example, in 2024, 52.5% of university students were women, compared to 47.5% of men. The increase in women's educational levels has changed traditional marriage concepts. Highly educated women in cities are often economically independent and place more emphasis on a partner's overall qualities, such as education, income, and values, rather than just financial dependence. This leads to higher standards for potential partners, making high-quality men more scarce. This results in the phenomenon where high-quality men are in high demand and high-quality women are too picky to settle for less. Additionally, the widening social gap between highly educated women in cities and low-income men from rural areas has made matchmaking more difficult. Recently, a 38-year-old woman in Shanxi went on 80 blind dates, all of which failed. But she continued to persist and travel everywhere to meet potential partners. This woman, an older single woman, had never been married before and had no children. She was originally an ordinary rural girl, but after going to university, her perspective changed. In her 20s, she had a baby face with delicate and pretty features. She was quiet by nature and didn't want to rush into relationships. She had always waited for her ideal partner. After graduating from university, her classmates who were ready got married or had children, while she missed the best years. After starting work, she began to feel that some men were unattractive, tight with money, and didn't want to spend on her. Her parents were anxious and urged her to find someone in her hometown and get married quickly, but she didn't take it seriously. As the only female university graduate in the village, she still felt proud and didn't settle for anyone. People didn't look at her, and she didn't look at them either. She never imagined that once a woman turns 30, her appearance and physical condition would decline rapidly. Her classmates' children were already in primary school, while she was still single. Now, with the economic downturn, she couldn't even stay in a big city. Finally, she realized the reality and began going on blind dates, just hoping to find a companion. She couldn't stop when she started. She met more than 80 people, including teachers, programmers, and even divorced bosses, but all of them ended in failure. She recalled the first blind date. The man was an engineer of the same age. After only a few words, he bluntly said, "To be honest, you're too old to have children, and you want 180,000 yuan as a bride price? That's too high." Her heart felt as if it were pierced by a needle, and her self-esteem was crushed. The awkward meeting ended in less than 10 minutes, but this was just the beginning. She continued going on blind dates, one after another. Through each meeting, she encountered all sorts of opinions. Some criticized her age, others said she lacked charm, and some felt she had no house, car, or savings. But she didn't give up and continued to search for love. This time, she took the bus to Xi'an for another blind date. The man was a 45-year-old high school teacher who was divorced. They had a meal together, watched a movie, and everything went smoothly. She thought there was hope and was full of excitement. To her surprise, as they were about to part ways, the man bluntly said, "You have a nice personality, but your age is a bit too much. I almost felt a disconnect. I don't need a family caretaker." The woman was once again disappointed. Even divorced men didn't want her. But after being rejected so many times, she had grown numb to the hurt. She posted her experience online. She said helplessly, "Another blind date failed. I don't know why men are so picky now. I'm 7 years younger than him, and yet he thinks I'm too old. He must be out of his mind. Anyway, I'll keep going on blind dates. I believe the person who will love me is still waiting for me." As a rural woman who became a university graduate, education exposed her to city life and its values. It also changed her self-awareness and expectations for life. Even now, lowering her standards for a partner, she still can't accept an old rural bachelor. This is because they don't meet her minimum requirements for economic stability or quality of life, and their values are often incompatible. In contemporary Chinese society, compared to older single women, older single men are much more pitiable. Simply put, older single women are often too selective and unwilling to marry men who are less qualified, while older single men want to marry but find no one to marry. They're forced into a situation of being single. It's worth noting showing that long-term singlehood can lead to feelings of loneliness, inferiority, and even anger in single men, increasing the risk of mental health issues. In extreme cases, some may express their dissatisfaction through irrational behaviors. Studies show that single men make up a large proportion of crime statistics, and with a continuing economic slump, as they struggle to earn money, they pose a threat to social stability. This is the harsh reality of China's marriage market, and it represents a fundamental social issue that remains difficult to resolve.